Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we have When Ice Burns Red. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoy the video, and let's get right into it. The cold in Raven's Hollow wasn't just outside. Then Jace Monroe, with his golden hair and wildfire soul, and Evelyn Hart, not just beautiful, but unforgettable. She stayed with you. They were a trio, best friends since childhood, stitched together by snow days, fishing trips, and the kind of trust only time can build. The sheriff's eyes, the words, he fell through the ice. His gloves were still on. His fishing rod still standing by the hole. And Jace, he was the one who called it in, said it happened too fast, that he tried to save him but couldn't. There were no witnesses, only silence, and Evelyn staring at Jace as he wrapped his arms around her at the funeral, thinking, he's lying. She tried to believe it wasn't true. And blood doesn't melt quickly. People remembered. They remembered the girl who sat still beside justice, and the boy whose lies cracked the ice. Tried to forget the way Liam had talked about Jace lately. What did you guys think? Leave a comment down below. If you liked the story, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps us a lot. And if you really like our content, consider joining our membership program. You can find that link in the description. We have some really cool perks. One of them is you can request a story to be read. We also have early access, ad-free episodes, and a whole bunch of fun stuff. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye. How distant he'd been. How careful. Tried to pretend she didn't notice the way Jace watched her now, with hunger, not grief. But grief has a way of sharpening the soul. And Evelyn was wide awake. She mourned, but she also watched and waited. Her scream didn't sound like it came from her own mouth, softly, like a question. She didn't pull away. She let him think she was breaking, let him believe she needed him. It wasn't seduction, it was strategy. Revenge, she learned, is not loud. It is quiet, patient, calculated. They began seeing each other only in whispers, secret meetings, late-night drives, kisses that tasted of memory and rage. And every time he touched her, Evelyn thought of Liam, of his smile, of his last breath under ice, of how he died without knowing she knew, and how Jace walked away clean. But time too can rot what it creates. The same lake, the same time. She said she wanted closure, wanted to feel close to Liam again, to say goodbye properly. Jace smiled like he'd won, like he had everything he ever wanted. The ice cracked beneath their boots as they walked. Evelyn wore the same coat she'd worn the night Liam first told her he loved her. She could still feel his arms wrapped around her from behind. Still hear the way he whispered her name like it was a prayer. She took Jace's hand and he squeezed it. No idea, no clue what waited beneath the surface. They stood in silence over the hole where Liam had fallen. The wind was cruel, bitter, beautiful. I think about him every day, she whispered. Jace said nothing. Do you? A pause. Then calmly, I try not to. That's when she turned to him. Her eyes weren't crying. They were fire. I know what you did. His face didn't change. Not at first. Then a smirk. Cold. Small. Confession without a word. I loved you, he said. No, she replied, voice trembling. You possessed me. You chose him. I chose kindness. He stepped closer. You still have me. She shook her head. I still have me. That's all I need. And from her coat pocket, she pulled the knife. Not just any knife. Liam's knife. The one missing from his tackle box the day he died. Jace backed up, but she moved like ice cracking slow, inevitable, furious. I loved him, she whispered, tears spilling now, and you murdered that. He tried to speak, but she buried the blade in his gut before he could. He fell to his knees, gasping, bleeding into the snow. Just like Liam had. Now, she said, kneeling beside him, you'll know what it feels like to die with your lies. Because love had entered the picture. And love doesn't share well. It lived in the bones of the town, in the frozen breath of its lakes, in the wind that moaned through pine trees, in the hearts of people who had learned to keep their warmth guarded. But even here, where silence was worshipped and pain rarely had a voice, 3 young lives burned too brightly to be ignored. First, there was Liam Walker, the boy with the ocean eyes and a laugh that could melt frost. Evelyn had chosen Liam, not out of pity or pressure, but because her heart had simply, quietly leaned toward him. Liam, with his gentleness, with the way he looked at her like she was the whole damn world, with the way he never asked her to be anything but herself. And Jace, he swallowed it, swallowed the ache. The long, ugly screams no one ever heard. He said he was happy for them, said it with a smile, said it like it didn't kill him. But that's the thing about buried things. They don't stay buried, not in Raven's Hollow, not when the ground is frozen. The day it happened, the sky was pearl gray and silent. Liam and Jace were going ice fishing, an old tradition, carried from teenage winters into their early 20s, a ritual, a bond. Evelyn had kissed Liam goodbye that morning, laughing as she handed him his thermos. He promised to bring her back a photo of the sunrise over the ice. She held his hand for a moment longer than usual. He kissed her again, and then he was gone. They say trauma warps time. You remember things in flashes, sounds, the weight of certain moments more than others. Evelyn remembered the knock on the door. Liam's body was found beneath the frozen lake, his blood seeping through cracks in the ice like red ink across paper. It was 2 months after the funeral when he kissed her. It was Liam's 1-year death anniversary when she invited Jace back to the lake. They found her there at dawn, sitting beside Justice, and the boy whose lies cracked the ice. Some called her mad. Others called her brave. But in Raven's Hollow, where the snow keeps secrets, so I hope you enjoyed this one. It's definitely a wild ride.